Ferrari brought some sunshine back to Maranello on Sunday, having won the historic centenary edition of Le Mans on return to the top category for its first outright victory since 1965 and 10th overall. Italian Alessandro Pierguidi, driving the stunning 499P hypercar, crossed the line over 80 seconds ahead of the lead Toyota. McLaren's loss is Audi's gain, with news last week that James Key is set to return to Sauber from this September as the squad's technical director, replacing Jan Monchaux. Key was jettisoned from McLaren at the start of this season, with Woking restructuring its operations, but has now landed on his feet with a return to Hinwil, where he worked from 2010 to 2012. Prior to his McLaren stint, Key was seen as one of the sport's preeminent designers. The Brit rose up the ranks at Jordan-turned-Force India before his moves to Sauber and then Toro Rosso. Sauber's CEO Andreas Seidel heaped praise on Key, stating he will lead the transformation process of the team's technical side and provide the tools and direction it needs to tackle the future. James's appointment is a crucial step on this journey, Seidel said. He has an outstanding amount of experience in the sport. Two-time world champion Max Verstappen has made a stunning admission that he's often kept up late thinking about online racing rather than F1. Verstappen is a keen sim racer and spends a lot of his free time doing it as his hobby, but says it's okay that he takes it very seriously with the skills and lessons transferable to F1. I go to bed probably thinking more about the simulator or a car there than what I do sometimes in F1, just because I also want to do well there, Verstappen said. The Dutchman has long been an online gamer and tested his FIFA skills in Saudi Arabia last year against local star Musaid Al-Dossari, who won the World Championship for Team Falcons in 2018.
Yeah, I'm a bit nervous now, because I like to play it, but probably he's going to completely destroy me.
Verstappen was under pressure in the high-tension match, but fell short of another win, with Al-Dossari defeating him 2-1. Ferrari team boss Frederic Vasseur says the problems affecting its SF23 are very difficult to understand, with the Scuderia still struggling to get to grips with its inconsistent performance. Ferrari has so far been unable to take its searing qualifying pace into the races, with the car's lack of front grip destroying its tires over a distance. Barcelona was another example, where Carlos Sainz started second but dropped back to finish fifth, while Charles Leclerc struggled with various inconsistencies in qualifying and the race. Vasseur says it's a complex problem, with performance even fluctuating between different tire sets, whether it's the same or a different compound. We have 1,000 people working on this now, and it is very difficult to understand and to fix it because it's not always the same problem, said the Frenchman. Red Bull's motorsport consultant Dr. Helmut Marko has revealed just how far Ferrari went in trying to bolster its Scuderia, with news that it tried to poach team boss Christian Horner in 2022. The Prancing Horse's title campaign fell apart last year, despite 2 wins from the first 3 races, via a raft of mistakes and reliability issues, and allegedly sought out Horner in Canada to replace then-team boss Mattia Binotto, which he seriously considered. It took me a whole night to convince Horner to stay at Red Bull. It cost us millions more, Marko said. Ferrari also failed to attract the squad's legendary Chief Technical Officer Adrian Newey and Technical Director Pierre Wash, though its rivals have been more successful, with Dan Fellows now at Aston Martin and Rob Marshall bound for McLaren. Moving on to Woking, which has denied there's any link between signing Rob Marshall, Red Bull's longtime Chief Engineering Officer, and a Milton Keynes power unit deal from 2026 onwards. McLaren continues to build its arsenal for a planned 2026 title campaign, But while a works power unit deal is now out of the question, team boss Andrea Stella has denied Marshall's signing as related to a future Woking switch from Mercedes to Red Bull power. Marshall and David Sanchez, who has left Ferrari, will join McLaren from January 1, 2024. The pair will join Peter Prodromou and Neil Holdy to form a four-pronged technical attack. Staying with the squad, whose design and development director Neil Oatley has opened up on the squad's struggles with its MCL 60, stating only Red Bull and Aston Martin have been able to build neutral cars. 2023 marks the second year of F1's new era regulations, but updates to the floor and diffuser this year to tackle porpoising have caught out some teams, with inconsistencies between corners and speeds, said Oatley to F1's official podcast Beyond the Grid.
Modern Formula 1 cars are incredibly difficult to drive. They're very sensitive to steering, ride heights, etc. And some people have got the equation exactly right, and others are still struggling a little bit.
The MCL 60's issues are being tackled by McLaren's technical team, led by Peter Prodromou, before the arrival next year of Rob Marshall and David Sanchez. But Oatley is still providing support.
It's just to help mentor and take the load off some of the other key players in the restructured organisation. So Andrea, Neil, Peter and David when he arrives later at the end of this year. Just trying to help where I can without being oppressive in my involvement.
Singapore has taken yet another step towards establishing itself as one of the most environmentally sustainable street circuits on the F1 calendar, with upgrades to track infrastructure ahead of the 2023 race. Work has just been completed on the Marina Bay pit building, with 1,396 solar panels installed on its roof that are expected to generate more than 800,000 kilowatt hours of energy per year, which is enough to power the building for an entire race month. While the focus is now on upgrading the track's lighting system from the previous metal halide projectors to LEDs, which do not require warm-up time and demand significantly less power per fitting. The new lighting system, which features a higher color temperature, will also provide outstanding visual clarity, effective heat management, and a long lifespan, all while meeting the latest broadcasting standards. Kyalami's hopes of a return to the calendar have allegedly been dashed, with F1 reported to have abandoned plans given South Africa's alignment with Russia, despite its public neutrality in the war with Ukraine. The sport has been keen to return to Africa in recent years, with Sir Lewis Hamilton supporting the plan. But while a recent change of race promoter helped with funding, politics have since become an obstacle. It's understood South Africa's loss will be Belgium's gain, with the iconic Spa-Francorchamps circuit set to remain on the calendar beyond 2023. Pirelli is set for competition to retain F1's sole tyre supply from 2025, with suggestions Japanese rival Bridgestone has made a bid. Pirelli has supplied F1 since 2011, with its current deal extending through to the end of 2024. But has applied for 2025 to 2027 via the FIA's tender, applications for which have now closed. But it's understood Bridgestone, which supplied tyres to F1 from 1997 to 2010 and is currently sole supplier to IndyCar via its Firestone brand, has submitted a bid to the FIA, with the Japanese firm stating that it's keen to pursue sustainable global motorsports activities. We are always thinking about what and how we can best supply our motorsports activities in global categories, including F1, said Eiichi Suzuki, Bridgestone's manager of motorsports planning. Thanks for watching. To stay up to speed on all things Formula One, make sure you hit the subscribe button.